earning your trust. This is Fox Eastern Carolina News at 10.
But I think he's more at peace that we as a family are at peace and know that their justice has been served.
A guilty verdict in the murder case of a man well known in his community. We'll tell you what's next for the defendant.
Repeated problems at a Greenville nightclub lead to it being closed by police. We talked to a mother who knows all too well about what can go wrong inside Club Phoenix.
Plus, one county in our area ranks #1 when it comes to most car crashes. Which one it is and what's being done to try to bring down those numbers. Good evening, I'm Jamie McCutcheon.
And I'm Brian North. Welcome to Fox Eastern Carolina News at 10. The county that has the highest number of wrecks with cars in our state is Pitt County. AAA releasing that Pitt County the #1 spot for the 6th year in a row for car crashes.
Fox Eastern Carolina's Juliana Valencia talks to state troopers to see why that is and what's being done about it. Juliana joins us now live in our newsroom.
Jamie, AAA says about 3 people die a day due to traffic crashes in the state. In Pitt County, Trooper Coley tells me the number of wrecks has gone down compared to last year, but that hasn't kept them out of the #1 spot.
Speed is the #1 cause of the wrecks that we're having in Pitt County.
One reason why AAA ranks Pitt County #1 for crashes in our state, and it's held the spot for the past 6 years. AAA reports there were close to 5,000 crashes last year in Pitt County. Trooper Coley says it has to do with a lot of factors. One of them, the amount of drivers in Pitt County.
Well, we have a lot of traffic in this area, in excess of 20,000 college students with East Carolina University. Pitt Community College also has a large amount.
Linda Little is moving her daughter into ECU this weekend. They're not from the area, but this stat doesn't surprise them.
It was just strange. I was just rear-ended prior to coming over to Walmart.
Trooper Coley also encourages drivers to add a little bit more time to their commutes. He says with school starting up in the next 2 weeks, there will be a lot more inexperienced drivers on the road.
In the mornings and the afternoons, we're also going to have school buses on the roadways.
The wrecks are not only in the city, but also in rural areas.
The rural paved roads, secondary roads are where we're having, we've had half of our wrecks.
Trooper Coley says the large amount of deer also factors in. Justin McLaughlin lives on the outskirts of Greenville and says he's run into 3 deer in the 2 years he's lived here.
Well, people from Greenville, they don't really drive out here in the country a lot, so when they're driving out here, they're not really thinking about deer, so if you ain't thinking about it and you ain't paying attention to it, that's when you're going to hit one.
Trooper Coley tells me so far this year in Pitt County, Wednesdays are the days most prone to accidents compared to last year when it was on Fridays. He says they're putting more troopers at areas prone to wrecks to try to lessen these numbers. Live in the newsroom, Juliana Valencia for Fox Eastern Carolina News.
All right, Juliana, and according to AAA in our viewing area, Terrell and Washington counties are ranked in the top 5 of having the smallest chance of being involved in a fatal accident. Well, another beautiful day here in Eastern North Carolina, and while our rain chances are slim for the next week, our chance of hot weather is climbing. Meteorologist Les Still joins us now with a first look at our Fox Eastern Carolina weather.
Hey, Jimmy, we're going to be headed into a nice long stretch of hot weather for us here in Eastern Carolina. By the end of the weekend, the humidity levels will start to come back up. I am tracking one lone little cluster of thunderstorms now, mainly north of Highway 64. Maybe northern Bertie County could get an isolated shower or storm from this as it makes its way out towards the Outer Banks, just like everybody else did today, right? Temperature-wise, we're falling back through the 70s as we speak. Upper 60s to mid 70s is where we're going to bottom out at later tonight. And then for the daytime hours tomorrow, back into the upper 80s, maybe even a few 90s out there with nothing more than maybe an isolated shower or thunder shower as that sea breeze front presses in. But again, over the next several days, those storms are going to be few and far between. So it's the payback for the weather we wish we had had the last couple weekends. I'll let you know how long it lasts and just how hot it will get next week when I join you in about 10 minutes.
New at 10, a Duplin County woman arrested in Jacksonville and charged with prostitution. That's 21-year-old Tess Echo. She's from Beulahville and accused with charging money for sexual favors. Jacksonville police arrested her. She's now being held at the Onslow County Jail.
A 3.5-year-old murder case reaches its conclusion today.
The victim, Edward Earl Bell, was shot to death in January of 2011. He was found outside his home in Pollocksville. The trial for Dennis, the accused killer, ended in Jones County this morning. Fox Eastern Carolina News reporter Kyle Horan was in court and has tonight's Fox follow-up.
Members of the jury, you have returned as your unanimous verdict that defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
It takes everything the Bell family has to keep from cheering in court as the verdict for the man who murdered their family member is read. In a room filled with people, lopsided in support for the victim, dozens show support for their slain family member. They remember him as Earl Bell. Dennis Lewis, now guilty of the murder that happened January of 2011. At the victim's home on Highway 58 in Pollocksville, the prosecution say the murder was premeditated, that the killer's motive was anger or jealousy, as Bell was dating Lewis's ex-girlfriend when the murder happened. As the trial wraps up, the Bell family cannot contain their joy.
It's been very hard for the past 3.5 years.
Lewis is led out of the courtroom in handcuffs. Outside, the family of the victim remembers him.
Everybody knew that we had the right person, and I think everybody worked so hard for this entire 3.5 years to get everything in perfect alignment to show that there was no doubt or within a reasonable doubt that this man murdered my daughter's father.
Today's a good day.
Yes.
I've cried so many tears. I'm not going to shed anymore because, I mean, tears of joy and happiness, yes. But I'm going to celebrate. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do, celebrate his life.
In Trenton, Kyle Horan for Fox Eastern Carolina News.
Lewis will start serving his life sentence immediately. He has no chance for parole.